friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. If you're new here, I'd love if you'd hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. And don't forget to leave a like or a comment down below because it really does help my channel. This week I've got lots of inspirational meals for you. And I'm also wanting to show you this product that I recently got sent. And it is a spoon rest or utensil rest for while you're cooking. So it's got 4 slots to put your utensils on, which I'm already loving because I don't like to contaminate touching spoons. Especially depending if you're cooking like chicken or seafood, things like that. So I like that they can have their own space for when you're stirring different things. It's not touching. This is a hard plastic material so that it doesn't really bend around. You know, it's like you're not collapsing because of all the utensils. Some of mine are heavier than others, and it also comes with these silicone spoon rests. Now these are quite large, so they hold a nice size. I'll show you on the counter in a moment a little bit better of all this. And this comes with 5, and that for it's about $15, and that's a great price in the first place for this many things. It comes with a black one, pink, a seafoam green, red, and a teal, which this is most people's colors. A lot of these colors are people's colors. I've seen people with pink kitchens, so this is great for anybody. But I'm gonna really enjoy having these because I like how they just stack and you can put them in a drawer. They're flexible and easy to wash, and I can just pull one out for whatever I need if I want to keep it separate from whatever I've got here, like if it's chicken, touch something like that. And so that's really useful. The company that sent me these is called Hengda, and I will leave a link in the description box down below to all their socials and website. They have a Amazon store, which is where you can get these, and I will leave a link to that as well as a coupon code for 30% off. That coupon code is going to be good for a month, and I will leave the dates to that in the description box as well. All that information will be there. Now, Hengda and I are working together soon to try to put together a contest for you guys to win one of these sets, so that will be great as well. I will work out the details with them, and that will be in a separate video, so keep an eye out for that. And let's just get started. Very quickly, I just want to show you that a big large size spoon does fit in those spoon rests, and some more utensils so you can get an idea of what will fit inside the 4 slotted utensil holder. To start off, I'm just going to go ahead and bring a large pot of water to a boil, and I'm going to cook up some egg noodles. This is a 12-ounce package. You can use anywhere from a 12 to 15-ounce package, and I just cook those 2 al dente. And while they're cooking, I will do some other things like grate my cheese. I like to use Monterey Jack cheese, and I'm also going to heat up some vegetables. I'm doing some mixed vegetables for my boyfriend, and off camera to the side there's some peas and carrots. That's what I like with it. And I'm also going to drain my noodles, and to the same pot I'm going to add in 2 cans of tuna to that I went ahead and drained. I like to heat my tuna up first, so I kind of push it into an even layer on the bottom of the pan and heat it up. I'm not fully cooking it, I'm just doing this for a moment or so. And then to that, I'm taking 2 of these cream of mushroom soup cans. These are 10.5-ounce cans, and I'm adding those into that tuna mixture, and I do give that all a good stir to kind of combine those 2 ingredients. I'm trying to create a base that the sauce that our noodles will go into after. So I do that, and I'm also going to add in the cheese. I'm just taking what's left of inside my grater out, and for cheese I'm going to say at least 8 ounces. I don't really measure. This is something I just kind of eye, so I added that in, and I'm also adding in about maybe a half a cup of milk to make that a little more creamier. Like I said, we're trying to make the sauce that's going to coat our noodles, so just kind of eye it and see if you need to add any more milk. And you can also season that with salt and pepper, which I do later, and then go ahead and add in your cooked noodles. And I kind of do a little bit of a folding motion as much as I can. This will help me to not break the noodles apart. So it's very important that you don't overcook them because they're going to be in this heated sauce for a moment here, so they will continue to slightly cook a little bit more. So it would help if they're just at al dente. And then you'll add salt and pepper. I just did pepper mainly because I felt like it's sometimes can be on the salty side depending if you salted your water. The tuna can be a little salty. and I tasted it, and I thought it needed a little more cheese. That's just how I like it. I like this creamy and not in the oven like most people do it, and I like it with peas and carrots, and this is just such a good, comforting, and delicious meal. I'm taking one of these pre-marinated and seasoned pork tenderloins. This is the Farmer John brand. I always tend to like this one. And I am going to go ahead and I'm going to be putting this in my air fryer, but I do have a large air fryer with a rotisserie spit, so I'm going to be doing that. So I put the rod through it, and I'm of course attaching the ends that hold it onto the fork there. And for me, that's 2 of those prongs. They kind of hold it so when it's spinning like this, you can see it's not like flapping all over the place. And I put this at 400 degrees for about 22 minutes. This is going to vary on the size of your pork. It could be less a few minutes, add a few more minutes. Just kind of check it. You want an internal temperature of like 145 degrees. And then I'm taking some green beans. These are just canned green beans. I'm heating them up, adding a little butter and garlic powder, as well as some salt and pepper. Keeping it simple. I really like just those simple ingredients on that. And I'm finally trying out these Vermont white cheddar mashed potatoes. I'm not really showing much here just because everybody knows how to make instant mashed potatoes, but I'm just following the directions on the water, and you just stir them on together. These were really good. So I always like the garlic and herb one, but this one was also very delicious. So here is my pork tenderloin out. I cut off some excess fat that was along one side there. I left it on beforehand because I figured while cooking that fat would drip and keep coating it and keeping it nice and tender and juicy. So I left it on while cooking, but now I'm cutting it off. And I'm also choosing to just slice this up into some slices, and you'll see that hole down the center of mine, and that is because of course I put that prong for the rotisserie spit through it. But this was super flavorful and delicious. I also served this with a Caesar salad. This is such a nice, it's pretty quick of a meal, and you get a really nice meal out of it. And it definitely does not disappoint to have one of these like ready to go pork tenderloins in the refrigerator. That taco place opened up next to where I live finally, and it was totally worth the wait because these Birria Tacos were amazing. So flavorful, absolutely delicious, and going to be big trouble that they're only right next door to where I live. I'm going to start this off by toasting my pecans. So I'm taking a 1/4 cup of those and sticking them in a baking dish, and I'm just going to put those in the oven at 350 degrees for 10 minutes, and then I'll pull them out to let them cool. And now I went ahead and put a large skillet over medium heat, and I'm adding in 4 ounces of butter, which is a 1/2 cup of butter, which is also 1 stick. And I'm going to go ahead and let that cook, and the butter's going to begin to brown. It's only going to take about 4 or 5 minutes, so make sure to watch that. And while that is cooking up, I'm going to boil these pumpkin raviolis that I have from Sam's Club. They are pumpkin spice raviolis. And I'm just going to cook those to package directions. And then, as you see here, I'm just kind of spooning around that butter, and it's got a nice golden color now. So to that, I'm going to go ahead and add in 2.5 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar and 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar. And I'll just go ahead and mix that all together, get those ingredients nice and combined. That's going to break down that brown sugar. And to that, I'm going to go ahead and add my cooked and drained raviolis. And I have turned the heat off at this point, so it's just the sauce is still nice and hot, but the raviolis are hot, so if your sauce did come to a little bit more of a cooler temperature, these will bring that back up. There's no need to turn the heat back on unless you absolutely need to. And just go ahead and spoon that sauce over your ravioli. You might have to be a little gentle, just depending if you've overcooked your ravioli a bit. Mine were starting to get to that point, so I was having to be a little bit gentle to not like break them open. And for the pecans, just go ahead and give those a nice rough chop. You're just going to go ahead and sprinkle these over the top of your ravioli. I served this with a side spring mix salad with a Maui onion ranch dressing that paired pretty well with that, and some garlic toast. Now, I did enjoy these ravioli. They are different, and I don't know if I want to try them again with this same sauce or if I want to kind of do a more creamy sauce next time. I do have another package because this was a 2-pack from Sam's Club, but they are a different taste, so you have to like pumpkin if you're going to eat something like this. It does have a sweet taste to it, so you don't want to get too sweet when it comes to the sauce, in my opinion. The recipe that I'll have linked for you does have ingredients for how to make the ravioli from scratch if you're interested in doing it that way. We did another fast food night because we were so tired. We've been cleaning all day this day. We're cleaning everything from top to bottom, which is nice, but then you don't feel like cooking. So we had some Wendy's spicy chicken sandwiches. They're always great and their fries are delicious. I was really craving some air fried asparagus, so I've taken a pound of asparagus. I drizzled them with some avocado oil and just some of the Kinder's Blend and Buttery Steakhouse, as well as the McCormick roasted garlic and herb, and I just air fried those at 400 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. Now to a skillet, I went ahead and added in some butter. Didn't really measure out, maybe 1 to 2 tablespoons worth, and I'm adding in my pound of shrimp here. I'm just kind of getting those tossed and coated with the butter to start cooking. I'm going to be seasoning them, and I have a major fail right here. I went to sprinkle them with a little bit of Old Bay and the lid popped open and it just poured all in there. So I saved the day here by just taking them over to the sink with a slotted spoon, and I scooped them up and just literally rinsed them off. And as I rinsed them off, I just popped them right back into the pan. So I'm not adding any more Old Bay in there because I just left a little bit, and I'm putting a little bit of butter and this Kinder's red garlic seasoning, just a bit of that, as well as some actual garlic that I just went ahead and chopped up into some, I think it was like 3-4 cloves worth. I love garlic. I chopped up a bunch, putting it in there to go ahead and season those up, and I'm just going to let those cook. This is not going to take much more than 5 minutes here to go ahead and cook those. And while those were cooking, I went ahead and heat up this Parmesan risotto, just a nice quick side dish. I served that with my asparagus. Those asparagus are delicious. And just a piece of French bread and butter. We love our seafood around here, so this was our seafood night, and it was also quick and easy. I love anything that I can cook in under, 15 minutes right here and have a nice, like, fancy looking meal. My boyfriend really enjoyed this. We always love shrimp. I was really craving this Stouffer's macaroni and cheese. I haven't had it in forever, so I made that up first, or put it in the oven first, just because it takes like 75 minutes to make this, but boy is it worth it. And when it was finally time to start on the chicken, I'm gonna go ahead and create this panko seasoning crust here. So we're gonna take about 3/4 of a cup of that. I was a little short, so I added a little bit of breadcrumbs just because I was so short. I'm adding that to the bottom of a baking dish. Then to that, I'm adding a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. The recipe that I'll have linked for you calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, but I added a 1/2 teaspoon of that, and a 1/4 teaspoon of the onion powder. It also doesn't call for Italian seasoning, but I added about close to a 1/2 teaspoon of that as well. And just mix that all together to get those ingredients nice and combined. Get your seasonings and your panko combined well, and then you'll add in 1 tablespoon of melted butter to that, and then give it a good mix again to get that incorporated. Now I'm greasing the bottom of a baking dish with some olive oil. This is a small baking dish. I made a mistake here. You're going to need a 9x13 baking dish. I placed 2 large chicken breasts here in the bottom. I'm not using the full amount of chicken as the recipe that I'll have linked for you calls for. They call for like what would be probably 3 chicken breasts because you're going to make them into cutlets. And you season them with salt and pepper to your preference. And then you add in a tablespoon of mayonnaise to them on the top. You're just going to coat the top of them. This is going to help your panko adhere to that. Well, I went ahead and added my mayonnaise on, then realized, these aren't cutlets. I made a mistake there. So I just had to remove that mayonnaise off, and it's no big deal. I just went ahead and cut them up really quickly. So I'll show you how I do that here if you've never filleted a piece of chicken there. So it's pretty easy. You do have to be careful. I'm used to doing this, so I'm not really too afraid. I know how far to go. And I did that to both my chicken breasts, making it 4 cutlets. I just seasoned that open face side, the part that got cut and had no seasoning, with a little bit of like Kinder's The Blend, just to be really quick there. Then I took that mayonnaise and I'm just kind of using my own hand to rub it all on top of those chicken breasts, and then you place that into your panko seasoning. You want a nice even layer of that panko so that it can coat that whole side of the chicken, and you're not coating both sides of the chicken, just one. You could, if you're using less chicken and the same amount of this panko, you could technically, you know, get more out of it and coat the whole thing, but I'm just doing the tops here. And then with the remaining, I'm just pouring it on top, getting some of those parts that didn't get fully covered, and just getting a nice good crust on top of there and pressing that in. And then bake that at 425 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. It did take 15 minutes for mine, and this is what it looks like, nice and golden brown. I made some air fried zucchini. I had some zucchini that was on its last days here and it needed to get used up, and it paired very well with this. But that mac and cheese, oh, it's such a simple thing, but I love it so much, and this was a great meal. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all are having an amazing day.